The Hague in the Netherlands is and was at the center of attention this past week, where South Africa has filed a specialist case of genocide against Israel. I'm joined now by live Zoom with Rabbi Yankee Jacobs, spokesperson of Chabad of Holland and son of the chief rabbi of the Netherlands, Rabbi Benjamin Jacobs. Both rabbis were there at The Hague this past week on a peaceful march for Israel. Thank you for joining us. Can you tell us what's going on there? What's the feel?
Right now, there's nothing going on. The past week, a court case was started, as you are aware, by South Africa, accusing Israel of genocide, and a court case started on Thursday and Friday. So Thursday, South Africa said their part, and on Friday, Israel was able to state its defense.
What can you and have you been doing there in support of Israel?
Right. What's going on is the following. We have to understand that the International Court of Justice, while it is located in Holland, it's not a Dutch institution. The judges are not Dutch. It happens to be in The Hague, which is also the city of Dutch that hosts the Dutch government, but it's not a Dutch institution. At the same time, it's an institution which got a lot of attention last week, and when the day that the court case started, there were big protests and manifestations. There was a pro-Palestinian manifestation protest, and there was also a pro-Israel solidarity march being hosted at the same time at the day that these court cases started.
Was the march organized by the Jewish community there?
The march was this pro-Israel march was organized by a multitude of Jewish and pro-Israel organizations. A very big element, a very big part of it was an organization called Christians for Israel, which are, as the name says, they are Christians, they're not Jewish, but they're very, very supportive of Israel in any way possible. And they came from all over the country. Buses came, some people leaving their houses as early as 6 in the morning and being on buses for 3 hours to be there at 9 o'clock to join this march and to show solidarity with Israel and with justice.
This is incredible. On a Thursday morning when people usually go to work and with freezing cold weather, as I imagine in Holland, people took buses to go to The Hague and show their support and solidarity with Israel.
Indeed, there were like 1,000 people. So Thursday morning, 9 o'clock, people have to work, but they came, and there were bus loads, came from all over the country, people just there for one reason only, one simple reason, to show Israel that they are there to support them. And that was a very, very beautiful and strong sign of solidarity.
How did it go? There was also a large pro-Palestinian protest there at the same time. Did you clash or it went peacefully?
Right. This was actually interesting. The Peace Palace itself, the square in front of it is not so big. It's quite small. So they didn't want two protests to take place at the same time at this small square. So the idea was the Palestinians would be there. The pro-Palestinian protest would be there first. Then the pro-Israel protest would walk by and the Palestinians would go to the side. We would be allowed to be there, show our support, then we leave, and then the pro-Palestinians would be allowed to come back. However, the pro-Palestinian protesters made a lot of noise, made a lot of trouble, and they didn't want to leave. And the police actually, multiple times, our march was stopped because they didn't want confrontation between the two camps, rightfully so, I must say. Till our organization went to the police and said, listen, we are going to go through because we want to be there when the media is there. We want to show the world that we are supporting Israel, and whether your guys are going to save us or not, within exactly 5 minutes, we are going to continue our walk. And after that being said, I'm not sure if that was the reason, within 1 minute, and they said, you're allowed to continue your walk and you're allowed to go to the march, continue your march to the Peace Palace, which was, we always have to be nice with authorities, but sometimes you do have to make it very clear that we're not going to allow ourselves to be silenced just because we are polite.
That's the only way. Kol hakavod. And did you in fact get police protection?
Of course, let's be very honest over here. The police is very, very protective of the Jewish community. There are, obviously they're not, the police itself is not taking a political stance, but they are doing anything they can to make sure the Jewish community is safe. And you know what? This was for them also a very scary moment. There's a lot of international media attention. You can't imagine how much media was there. All the eyes is upon them. And if something would have gone wrong over there, everybody would have blamed them. So I don't envy them, but they were there and they protected us and they made sure everything went well.
Christians, Israelis, local Jews, and family of hostages took part at this march, right?
Yes, there were people that were part of the Israeli delegation, people and families of the hostages, and Jews, Christians, and we found it also very, very important to be very visibly attending an event like this to show the outside world, but also to show our Jewish community that we should never be scared of showing our support to Israel and showing our support to justice, because sometimes people might be scared to voice their opinion within their, at the universities or at work, etc., etc. So we felt it very, very important that we should be very visibly Jewish, attending such an event, supporting Israel.
Very heartwarming to know that our brothers and sisters in Europe who are also fighting a major war against anti-Semitism and are actively doing and reacting, showing their faith and strength. Rabbi, you are also there as Chabad on campus, and you have been going to meetings to help Jewish students raise awareness on Israel and, again, fight anti-Semitism there. Tell us a bit about it.
Well, we're dealing very much at universities, like in America, like everywhere. We're dealing with what I say is an internationally organized, activistic groups, very well financed, trying to influence academic debate and trying to influence and trying to create a lot of criticism on Israel within the universities. And we very much fight against it, meaning if people want to have, from an academic perspective, they come to certain conclusions, it's their right. They can even voice an opinion, which is not an opinion that I share. But we should be very, very careful of foreign countries trying to influence what is being taught at universities over here. And that's what's happening. It's happening all over the world. And this is something we have to fight against. And we have to make sure that there's true academic debate taking place at these universities.
Rabbi Jacobs, you live downtown Amsterdam. Are you scared to walk around your area with your kippah, tzitzit? Do you feel like a target?
Absolutely not. I'm not scared. And I will also never hide my Jewish identity in any way. I would walk anywhere in the city or in any other city showing visibly that I am Jewish. That is what I tell my people as well. Now, of course, there are people that are scared. I think that as people, individuals shouldn't be scared. Institutions, however, obviously need a very high measure of security due to a rise of terror, the threat of terror against Jewish institutions, meaning when my kids go to school, there's police, there's army, there's a lot of protection around Jewish institutions, but individuals don't have a reason to be hiding their Jewish identity. Even more so, I can walk around the universities with a kippah. I never ever had an issue, and I will never have an issue because I'm not going to hide my Jewish identity.
Politically there, the new strongest party is very right and very pro-Israel.
Well, what you see over here is there's no coalition yet. So let's be very clear. Obviously, there was the party, the Freedom Party from Geert Wilders, won, meaning they became the biggest party. They got 37 seats. However, there's no coalition yet, so we don't know what the future is going to entail. They are pro-Israel. now, the overall is definitely, besides his party, there are many other parties that are supportive of Israel. Let's be very honest. The government at the moment, the Dutch government, is supporting Israel in their right to defend itself within the parameters of what you can expect for a European country. But they are supportive of Israel, and that is something we should be thankful for. At the same time, no one knows what the future is going to entail. And in society, there is a lot of support, as more and more support coming for the Palestinian side of the narrative. But not necessarily does that reflect the majority of Dutch voters.
Do you see a stronger desire now from the youth in Holland to consider, or already are doing Aliyah, and so leaving Europe and coming to Israel?
Well, I had it just 1 week ago. 2 weeks ago, a father calls me and says, "Listen, my daughter wants to do her year of study in Israel, but I'm so scared. Can you speak to my daughter and convince her not to go because I won't be able to sleep at night?" And but I told the father that I think the safest place for the daughter right now is Israel. As the Lubavitcher Rebbe used to say, Eretz Hashem Israel is the land which had God's eyes upon it from the beginning of the year until the end of the year. And so I advised the father, I can speak to your daughter, I can advise her to be in touch with you every day, but I'm not going to tell her not to go to Israel. Last week, he went to bring her to Israel because she insisted. She said, "I'm going to go anyways." He brought her, and I just called him in the car on my way here, and I asked him, "How was it?" And he says, "Well, I'm so happy my daughter went to Israel," and he was all calm and he felt all fine, and he was happy that his daughter is there right now. So you do see there is a tremendous connection to Israel, and people are supporting and feel connected to Israel, and they feel it's part of their identity.
That's great to hear. So what's the right way to fight anti-Semitism, Rabbi?
Well, I think the best way is not to fight negativity. I think the best way the best way of fighting anti-Semitism is being proud of who you are. Not to be involved constantly with negativity. Don't focus on the negative elements of it. I want to give you an example. We had 2 years ago, I was at a certain university. It was right before COVID, so maybe it was a bit before 2 years ago. And a specific university, students came over to me and said, "You know what? At the intro week, which is the week that the university starts, the Palestinian students are going to have a stand, and they will give out Palestinian flags." They were all worried. I'm like, "So what are you worried about?" "Well, they will give out Palestinian flags." I'm like, "So what do you want to do?" "I want to make an Israeli stand, and we will give out Israeli flags." So I told the students, "What do you think most people are going to think? The Palestinians are going to give out Palestinian flags. The Jews are going to give out Israeli flags. And most people are just going to continue walking and say, those crazy Palestinians, those crazy Jews. What are you going to achieve? So what do you want us to do?" I'm like, "Listen, the study year is starting right before Rosh Hashanah, right?" "Yes." I'm like, "What you're going to do, you make honey cake, and you're going to give them out to all students. And with a big sticker on it, the Jewish Student Association of that university wishes you a sweet new study year of study." "Oh, really? We should give it out to everyone, also to the Palestinian students?" I'm like, "Yes, you also give it to the Palestinian students." "Oh, wow, we never thought about it." But that is the best way. Through positivity, you can reach much more than just by calling out people for their anti-Semitism. So the best way of fighting anti-Semitism is to speak about the positivity, speak about that what Israel is adding to the world, the fight Israel is fighting for justice, the great things that are happening in Israel and by Israel, and not focusing on the negativity, but focusing on the positivity, and that's going to win many more people over than by just speaking about negative elements.
Thank you, Rabbi Jacobs. Hopefully we should hear good news from The Hague and show the world the truth.
Whatever the news is going to be, we have to realize we are outnumbered. In numbers, we are smaller. That means we have to work more effectively. Whatever is going to come out of The Hague, we know what justice is. And whatever is going to come out of The Hague is going to say more about The Hague than it's going to say about Israel. That should be clear. We should be proud of who we are, and we should be fighting to make sure our people are safe. And that is not only in our interest; that's also in the interest of the people in Gaza themselves, because they're also not helped by a dictatorship of Hamas.
Thank you again, Rabbi Jacobs. Keep up your great work there, and hope to see you soon in Israel. Take care.
Good luck, Hadassah. Bezrat Hashem.